there, everybody. Welcome back to the Planes, Trains, and Comic Books channel. My name's Matt, and today we're going to review Sins of the Salton Sea #1. But before we get into that, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing, subscribing, commenting, it really helps me out and lets me know what you guys want to see more of. So, with that being said, let's get straight into it. Alright, we got the cover here for Sins of the Salton Sea #1. It is an AWA comic, and it is by Ed Brisson and C.P. Smith. And we start off at a truck stop in the middle of nowhere, where we see this man who's the main character named Wyatt, and he's just working at a dishwasher here part-time. And when his shift is over, he heads to his Winnebago in the parking lot, and he's having trouble going to sleep that night. So he goes outside for a walk, and he sees someone sitting at a park bench near his Winnebago. And it turns out it's someone he knows named Jasper. And Jasper is Wyatt's brother. So they find a bar to sit down at, and they begin to talk and catch up, and it turns out that something bad happened with Wyatt. So bad that he had to vanish, and it was something that him and his brother were involved in that was obviously a criminal thing. So obviously his brother isn't here just to say hi. Jasper asks Wyatt if he will help him with one last big score so that he can get out of the crime business as well. And at first Wyatt says no, but his brother really lays it on thick and makes it seem like all he needs is Wyatt to help him and he can get out too. So eventually Wyatt does give in to his request and he decides to join for this one last thing. And Wyatt's surprised when he finds out that it's literally the next day later when they're doing this job. So he's pretty upset because normally you do a plan and then it's a couple weeks out before you actually do the job, but this thing is happening immediately. And even though he doesn't like it, Wyatt still goes along, and that's where I'm going to stop it. I don't want to spoil anything else. So I picked this comic up because I'm a big fan of crime comics, and I've read a couple of Ed Brisson's other crime comics, and I really like them. One of my favorites is called Catch and Release, and you should definitely check that out if you're a fan of that genre. So needless to say, I was willing to give it a chance. And Ed Brisson didn't disappoint. I think he has a really good command of what this story is going to be, and he does a good job of setting up, obviously, what's going to go wrong in this crime that Jasper pulled Wyatt into. But it definitely has a lot of twists that I didn't see coming. It's not just your standard robbery kind of thing. I thought the art was good for this kind of a book. Obviously, a lot of it is kind of sitting in dark places and talking. But then once the action took off, I thought the artist did a really good job of really capturing that immediacy and the tension. And it kind of reminded me of another crime book called That Texas Blood. A little bit different, but in the same vein. So overall, I thought this was a great book, especially if you like crime comics. They don't come out that often, so I'll always usually give them a try, just because I'm a fan of that genre. So I'm going to give this book a 3.5 out of 5. It was definitely a solid start to this story, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next issue. So if you guys saw anything you like, definitely go pick that up at your local comic book store, and we will see y'all in the next one.